On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected. Garry Shandling, the influential comedian, writer, and actor, passed away on March 24, 2016, at the age of 66 due to a sudden heart attack. His death was unexpected, as he had not publicly disclosed any serious health concerns. However, reports later revealed that he had been suffering from a heart condition. His passing was not just a personal loss, but a moment of reflection for the comedy world, which recognized his pioneering contributions to television and stand-up. Shandling's work revolutionized modern comedy, particularly with It's Garry Shandling's Show and The Larry Sanders Show. His sharp, self-aware humor deconstructed the very nature of television, laying the groundwork for future sitcoms that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. His influence extended to a new generation of comedians and writers who admired his ability to satirize Hollywood and the entertainment industry with both wit and depth. The immediate reaction to his death was an outpouring of grief from the comedy community. Fellow comedians and actors, including Jerry Seinfeld, Conan O'Brien, and Judd Apatow, spoke about Shandling's generosity, mentorship, and genius. His passing underscored the fragility of life and served as a reminder of the intense pressures and anxieties that often accompany creative brilliance. In the wake of his death, there was a renewed appreciation for his groundbreaking television work. The Larry Sanders Show, which had already been hailed as one of the greatest TV comedies of all time, was rediscovered by younger audiences, reinforcing how Shandling had shaped the modern era of single-camera comedies like The Office and Curb Your Enthusiasm. His influence became even more apparent as retrospectives and documentaries such as The Zen Diaries of Garry Shandling, 2018, explored his complex personality, struggles with self-doubt, and commitment to personal growth through Buddhist teachings. Shandling's legacy highlights how comedy serves not only as entertainment, but also as a reflection of society's neuroses and ambitions. His passing reminds us of the deep connection between humor and existential inquiry, how laughter can be both a shield and a tool for introspection. Through his work, interviews, and the comedians he mentored, Shandling continues to shape the comedic landscape, proving that the best satire is timeless, and that true innovation leaves an enduring mark long after the creator is gone. Mums the Schemer, born Craig Grant, passed away unexpectedly on March 24, 2021, at the age of 52. His death was attributed to natural causes, yet its sudden nature left the artistic community in shock. As a poet, actor, and playwright, he was a defining voice in spoken word and television, best known for his role as Arnold "Poet" Jackson on the HBO series Oz. His passing not only marked the loss of a uniquely talented performer, but also underscored the transient nature of life and art, particularly for those who challenge societal norms through their work. Grant emerged from New York's slam poetry scene, a movement that flourished in the 1990s as a response to social and political issues affecting urban communities. His work was raw, rhythmic, and socially conscious, capturing the struggles of Black and Latino youth in America. His transition from poetry to acting was seamless, as he infused his performances with the same lyrical intensity that defined his spoken word pieces. His character on Oz, a poet navigating the brutal realities of prison, became a symbol of artistic resistance, using words as weapons in a world where violence often seemed like the only option. The immediate response to his death was an outpouring of grief from actors, poets, and fans who recognized his contributions to the arts. Many recalled his generosity, mentorship, and unwavering dedication to storytelling. His passing also highlighted the fragility of life, particularly for artists who often work tirelessly behind the scenes without the mainstream recognition their impact deserves. Though Muriel the Schemer may not have been a household name like some of his contemporaries, his influence on spoken word and socially conscious television was profound. He helped bridge the gap between poetry and performance, proving that the two were not separate disciplines, but extensions of the same truth-seeking impulse. His work on Oz remains one of the most compelling portrayals of poetry as a means of survival, a reflection of the power of language in even the harshest circumstances. His death serves as a reminder of the urgency of artistic expression and the importance of honoring those who shape culture through their words. While he is gone, his poetry and performances continue to inspire new generations of spoken word artists, actors, and activists. Through remembrance and appreciation of his artistry, Muriel the Schemer remains an enduring voice, a testament to the power of storytelling in shaping how we understand the world. Johan Cruyff, one of football's most revolutionary figures, passed away on March 24, 2016, at the age of 68 after a battle with lung cancer. His death was a poignant reminder of both his personal struggles and the broader realities of an era that saw smoking culture deeply embedded in professional sports. As a player and later a coach, Cruyff reshaped the game, elevating total football to an art form. His passing marked not just the loss of a legendary athlete, but a shift in how the footballing world reflected on its history, values, and future. Cruyff had been a heavy smoker for much of his playing and managerial career, a habit common among athletes of his generation, when the long-term health effects were less understood or taken less seriously. Even after undergoing heart surgery in 1991, he famously replaced cigarettes with lollipops on the sidelines, symbolizing both his personal battle and a broader cultural shift toward healthier lifestyles in professional sports. His diagnosis in 2015 came as a blow to the football community, but even in his final months, he remained an outspoken advocate for the game and for health awareness. The immediate response to his death was an overwhelming outpouring of grief and tribute from across the footballing world. FC Barcelona, Ajax, and the Dutch national team, each profoundly shaped by Cruyff's philosophy, honored him with moments of silence, emotional ceremonies, and tributes from players and coaches who had been inspired by his teachings. His influence was not merely about trophies or goals, but a complete transformation of how football was played and understood. Cruyff's passing did not diminish his legend, it amplified it. He had already been a towering figure in football, but his death served as a moment of collective reflection on how deeply his ideas had infiltrated the sport. The modern pressing game, positional play, and an emphasis on technical excellence all bore his fingerprints. Managers like Pep Guardiola, who played under Cruyff at Barcelona, carried forward his philosophy, ensuring that his impact would continue shaping football's future. His death also highlighted football's relationship with memory and legacy. In an era where commercialism dominates the sport, Cruyff represented a purer vision, one of creativity, intelligence, and beauty. His name lives on in the Johan Cruyff Arena, in the foundations and charities he established, and in the countless young players who are taught the principles of total football. More than just a footballer, he was a philosopher of the game, and through art, literature, and the playing styles of modern teams, his vision remains immortal. Robert Culp, the charismatic actor known for his sharp wit and commanding presence, passed away on March 24, 2010, at the age of 79. His death was the result of an accidental fall while walking near his home in Los Angeles. Though he had lived a long and accomplished life, his sudden passing was a reminder of the unpredictability of mortality, even for those who seemed larger than life on screen. Culp's career spanned decades, but he is best remembered for his role as Kelly Robinson in I Spy Ye, a groundbreaking television series that helped reshape the American entertainment landscape. At a time when the civil rights movement was challenging systemic racism in the U.S., I Spy was the first American television series to feature a black actor, Bill Cosby, in a leading dramatic role alongside a white co-star. Culp not only starred in the show but became a close friend and supporter of Cosby, reinforcing the progressive themes that the series embodied. His legacy, therefore, was not just in acting but in breaking barriers in Hollywood. The news of his passing was met with tributes from the entertainment industry, with many recognizing his contributions not only as an actor, but as a writer and director who shaped television storytelling. His death, occurring at a time when nostalgia for classic television was strong, led to renewed interest in his work, with retrospectives and interviews celebrating his impact. Unlike the violent or politically charged deaths of historical figures, Culp's passing was quiet and unceremonious, yet it still reflected a universal truth. Fame and talent do not shield one from life's fragility. The suddenness of his death underscored how quickly icons can be lost, and how their impact must be measured not just by their departure, but by the legacy they leave behind. In remembering Robert Culp, we see how entertainment figures shape cultural narratives and social progress. He was immortalized through the reruns of I Spy, through the influence he had on television's evolution, and through the storytelling techniques he helped pioneer. His work continues to be studied, his performances rediscovered by new generations, and his name remains etched in the annals of Hollywood history. In this way, his death, though tragic, only solidified his place in the cultural memory, proof that great artistry does not fade, but rather evolves with time. Muriel Young, a pioneering force in British television, passed away on March 24, 2001, at the age of 77. Her death was due to natural causes, marking the end of a life dedicated to shaping children's entertainment and the early days of British pop culture broadcasting. Though her passing did not send shockwaves through the global entertainment industry, her contributions to television had already left a lasting imprint, particularly in the United Kingdom, where she was a beloved presenter and producer. Young's career reflected the dynamic post-war shift in entertainment, particularly in the rise of television as a primary medium for reaching young audiences. Beginning as a continuity announcer for Granada Television, she quickly transitioned into hosting and producing children's programming, becoming one of the most influential figures behind British television's golden era of youth-oriented content. She was instrumental in the success of programs like The 5 O'Clock Club, Lift Off with Aishea, and Supersonic, which introduced a generation of British children and teenagers to the latest music acts. Her passing marked the end of an era in British television history. The immediate consequence was a wave of tributes from those who had grown up watching her programs, as well as from television professionals who recognized her role in paving the way for modern music and children's programming. Unlike figures whose deaths altered history in an instant, Young's legacy was one of steady influence, ensuring that future generations of presenters and producers had a foundation to build upon. Her contributions reflected an era when television was becoming the dominant form of entertainment and education for children, helping shape the way broadcasters engaged young audiences. Young's death highlights how media figures can be quietly influential, shaping cultural landscapes in ways that may not be immediately apparent. Unlike political leaders or film stars, television producers like Young often work behind the scenes, yet their contributions endure through the programs they create. Her legacy lives on in the evolution of children's television and music programming, as the formats she helped establish continue to inspire new generations of media professionals. In commemoration, Young is remembered through the archives of British television history, where her work is celebrated by media historians and nostalgic audiences alike. The power of television as a medium of memory ensures that figures like Young, though not always in the spotlight, are never truly forgotten. Her life's work stands as a testament to the quiet yet profound impact of those who shape the way we experience entertainment from an early age. Elizabeth I of England, the last monarch of the Tudor dynasty, died on March 24, 1603 at Richmond Palace at the age of 69. Her death was from natural causes, though its precise nature remains debated. Historians speculate that she may have suffered from blood poisoning, pneumonia, or even cancer. After a lifetime of political maneuvering, military triumphs, and personal sacrifices, her final days were marked by withdrawal from court life, lingering melancholy, and declining health. Her passing signified more than just the end of a reign. It marked a pivotal transition in English history. The Elizabethan era, defined by the flourishing of the arts, the consolidation of Protestantism, and the expansion of England as a global power, came to a close. As she left no direct heir, her death created uncertainty regarding the nation's future. Despite her reluctance to name a successor, the throne passed peacefully to James VI of Scotland, uniting England and Scotland under one ruler and establishing the Stuart dynasty. The immediate consequences of Elizabeth's death were both political and symbolic. Domestically, her passing ended decades of relative stability under her long rule. The ascension of James I ushered in new political dynamics, including increased tensions between monarchy and parliament, which would later culminate in civil war. Internationally, her death marked the end of England's defining rivalry with Spain, as the country turned its focus inward under the new king. Yet, Elizabeth's legend only grew in the years following her death. Her reign was mythologized as a golden age, with her image immortalized as the Virgin Queen, a ruler who placed duty over personal life for the good of her nation. Elizabeth's death and legacy highlight humanity's enduring fascination with powerful figures who defy societal norms. As a female ruler in a male-dominated age, she used intelligence and political savvy to navigate the challenges of leadership, defying expectations of marriage and succession. Her life and reign continue to be examined through literature, theater, and art, with portrayals in everything from Shakespearean dramas to modern films reinforcing her near-mythic status. Ultimately, Elizabeth I's passing reminds us that historical figures are often larger in death than in life. Her rule, once fraught with controversy and challenges, became an idealized chapter of English history, enshrined in the national consciousness. In commemoration, she remains one of the most studied and celebrated monarchs in history, proving that true immortality lies not in bloodlines, but in the lasting power of memory and narrative. Richard Widmark, once of Hollywood's most memorable actors, passed away on March 24, 2008, at the age of 93 due to complications from a fall. His death was natural, though it highlighted the vulnerabilities of aging, even for figures once known for their strength and charisma. Widmark, a performer who built a career portraying both menacing villains and principled heroes, died in Roxbury, Connecticut, far from the limelight of Hollywood. His passing marked the end of an era in American cinema, one in which the film noir anti-hero, the hard-boiled detective, and the morally complex cowboy shaped the nation's understanding of masculinity and justice. Widmark's death reflected the broader shift in Hollywood and American culture. His rise to fame in the late 1940s coincided with an era of post-war anxieties and the moral ambiguities that defined noir films. His breakout role in Kiss of Death, where he played the sadistic Tommy Udo, set the stage for a career filled with complex, often unsettling characters. His chilling portrayal of Udo, complete with a sinister cackle, captured the fears of an America grappling with crime, post-war disillusionment, and the fragility of law and order. As Hollywood evolved, so did Widmark, transitioning into more heroic roles that reflected the optimism of the 1950s and 1960s. The immediate impact of his passing was a wave of retrospectives celebrating his contributions to film history. Although Widmark had stepped away from acting decades earlier, his death reminded audiences of a golden age of cinema, when actors could embody both the darkness and decency of the human experience. He had never been a showy celebrity, preferring a private life over the spotlight, which only added to his mystique in death. Widmark's legend, like that of many Hollywood icons, has only grown with time. His performances continue to be studied, his films remain classics, and his influence can be seen in modern portrayals of morally ambiguous characters. Unlike actors who faded from memory, his impact endures, proving that certain performances transcend the era in which they were made. His death underscores the way Hollywood legends are immortalized, not just through their body of work, but in the continued reinterpretation of their characters. Like Humphrey Bogart or James Cagney, Widmark represents a particular archetype of American film history, forever preserved in black and white shadows and smoky rooms. His passing may have marked the end of his physical presence, but in the flicker of old movie reels and the echo of his infamous laugh, Richard Widmark remains timeless. Bill Rieflin, the versatile and highly respected drummer known for his work with bands like Ministry, REM, and King Crimson, passed away on March 24, 2020, at the age of 59 after a battle with cancer. His death was natural, though it came at a time of global uncertainty as the COVID-19 pandemic reshaped everyday life. Rieflin's passing was a loss not only to the rock and industrial music communities, but also to an era of musicians who thrived on experimentation and reinvention. Rieflin's career reflected the changing landscape of rock and alternative music from the 1980s onward. He first gained recognition as the drummer for Ministry, a band that defined industrial metal's aggressive and mechanized sound. This genre, heavily influenced by themes of dystopia, political turmoil, and technological anxiety, resonated with a generation disillusioned by Cold War tensions and the rise of digital surveillance. Rieflin's hard-hitting yet precise drumming embodied the industrial movement's raw energy. However, unlike many musicians who remain confined to a single genre, Rieflin's artistic curiosity led him to work with a diverse range of artists, from experimental rock legends, King Crimson, to the more mainstream alternative sound of REM. His passing, though overshadowed by the unfolding pandemic, was deeply felt in the music industry. Fellow musicians, including his longtime collaborators, shared tributes that spoke to both his immense talent and his humility. Unlike many drummers who took center stage with flamboyant performances, Rieflin was known for his quiet, introspective presence, allowing the music itself to shine. His ability to adapt and innovate made him a sought-after musician, and his death left a noticeable void among those who valued versatility and artistic evolution in rock music. Rieflin's legacy continues through the albums he contributed to, which remain influential in shaping the sounds of industrial, alternative, and progressive rock. His ability to seamlessly transition between genres speaks to a broader shift in music culture, one where rigid categories give way to fluidity and exploration. His work with King Crimson, in particular, reinforced the idea that rock music could be as complex and intellectually engaging as classical compositions. In remembering Rieflin, we reflect on how artists like him challenged the boundaries of their craft, leaving behind a body of work that continues to inspire. His death reminds us that while musicians may pass on, their sound lingers, shaping future generations who seek to push artistic limits. Whether through the relentless pounding of industrial beats or the intricate rhythms of progressive rock, Bill Rieflin remains immortalized in the echoes of his music. Albert Uderzo, the legendary French comic book artist best known for co-creating Asterix, passed away on March 24, 2020, at the age of 92. His death was attributed to a heart attack, reportedly unrelated to the COVID-19 pandemic that was sweeping the globe at the time. Uderzo's passing marked the end of an era for fans of Asterix, a series that had become a cultural touchstone in Europe and beyond, embodying themes of resilience, humor, and national identity. Uderzo's work reflected the values and spirit of post-war France, a nation rebuilding itself and reasserting its identity. Asterix, created in collaboration with writer René Goscinny in 1959, was more than just a comic. It was a witty and deeply satirical reflection on history, politics, and cultural pride. The series followed the adventures of a small but fiercely independent Gaulish village resisting the mighty Roman Empire, mirroring France's historical struggles against foreign domination. Through humor and caricature, Asterix playfully examined colonialism, imperialism, and the persistence of local traditions in a rapidly globalizing world. The immediate consequences of Uderzo's death were felt deeply in the world of European comics, where he had long been revered as a master illustrator and storyteller. Fans and fellow artists mourned the loss of a man whose work had brought joy and laughter to millions for over 6 decades. His passing also underscored the fragility of an era in which hand-drawn comics held a central place in popular culture. While Asterix continues under new creators, Uderzo's unique artistic style, marked by expressive characters and dynamic action sequences, remains irreplaceable. Uderzo's death further solidified his legend, much like Goscinny's passing in 1977 had done before him. With both original creators now gone, Asterix became an even stronger symbol of artistic legacy, perseverance, and the timeless appeal of storytelling. His influence extended beyond comics, inspiring animated films, live-action adaptations, and even theme parks that celebrate the indomitable spirit of his beloved characters. Reflecting on Uderzo's passing, we are reminded of how art serves as a powerful vehicle for memory and cultural identity. He, like many great storytellers before him, lives on through his creations, immortalized in every panel and speech bubble of Asterix. His work continues to be studied, adapted, and cherished by new generations, proving that while artists may pass away, their stories endure. Jules Verne, the visionary French author best known for his adventure novels like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Journey to the Center of the Earth, died on March 24, 1905, from complications related to diabetes. His death was natural, marking the end of the life of one of the most influential writers in the world of science fiction and adventure literature. Although his physical passing occurred quietly, the impact of his work would reverberate for generations, shaping the trajectory of both literature and scientific imagination. Verne's death came during a time of rapid technological progress and global exploration. The turn of the 20th century was an era in which the worlds of science, industry, and exploration were advancing at an unprecedented rate. Verne had captured the imagination of readers with his groundbreaking works that blended imagination with scientific possibility, pushing the boundaries of what was considered achievable. His books painted a picture of a future in which humans could conquer the seas, fly through the air, and journey to distant worlds, ideas that seemed far-fetched in his time but would eventually become reality. The immediate consequences of Verne's death were twofold. First, his works continued to influence the emerging genre of science fiction, with authors like H.G. Wells and later Arthur C. Clarke acknowledging Verne's influence on their own writings. Second, Verne's passing marked the end of an era for a generation of readers who had grown up with his tales of adventure and possibility. His works remained timeless, continuing to inspire generations of readers and filmmakers. Verne's death, though quiet, did amplify his legend. Over time, the very term science fiction would be tied to his name, as his novels had not only entertained readers, but also sparked curiosity about the world and the possibilities of science and technology. His works became more than just stories. They became blueprints for the future, foreshadowing technological advances that would occur in the decades to come. As humanity has progressed into the space age, Verne's ideas about exploration and discovery seem more prescient than ever. Reflecting on Verne's death, we are reminded of how a writer's legacy can transcend their physical life. Through the pages of his books, Verne remains immortalized in our collective memory, his visions of adventure and discovery continuing to captivate audiences. His works have been adapted into films, television series, and even theme park attractions, ensuring that his ideas continue to inspire not only through literature, but also through the arts and sciences. His death, though natural, did not diminish his place in history as one of the architects of modern adventure and science fiction, immortalized in the hearts of those who continue to read and dream.